Thank you for this book. All of us have got something from you. We're all taking back to our classroom. Thank you. Okay, this time I'm here to introduce a mother. She has taught for several years. Taught all grade level, elementary and early years. She's currently one of the heads of the Learning Support Department at Lincoln Community School. She's also passionate about teacher training, helping teachers add to their skills and to improve teaching and learning. She has worked tirelessly with her team and other professionals to make her vision become a reality. Today, she would like to see you take away the ability to inspire your learners, to become active, and for you to make your teaching fun. Please join me in welcoming Naami Oddoye.
Juliet was supposed to add something to that, and I think she did. That's it. Reluctantly. They got me to stand up here, even though I don't think I can say it as well as all of them can. Before I start, I have to say Dennis has said it all. I sat there listening to him and thinking, this is exactly what we want to put across to all. He said every single thing that I wanted to say. So you see, as a teacher, what do you do when that happens? You have to be flexible, right? You have to change things around, right? What I want has been answered. Because really, then do I have to say anything? No, right? Because Dennis has said it all. Don't you agree with me? Yes, he said it, you see? Well, what can I add to it? Now I have to change things around. I have to be flexible, be a teacher. I walk into my class, my students know it all. So what am I going to do? Maybe I can tell you a story. That's how I'll start. I remember myself, just like Dennis is saying, I started school a long time ago too. And I remember, I say this story many times over to my friends, everything in my French class. I wasn't very good in French. I still am not good in French. But I knew exactly how to pass my exam. And that was by reciting and by memorizing. So, today I'm how old? I can still memorize a passage which I have no understanding of. Absolutely no understanding of. And I passed my exam. And I did well in my French exam. And I can still say, Pierre est ici, oui, il est ici. Il travaille, non, il lit un journal. Bien, Pierre, voici une visite. Bien, maman, une minute. I had no idea what this meant. But I needed, it's true, I needed to know this for my French exam. I had to know it for my French exam, my French oral exam. I had to answer that. So I went forth, I said it, and I passed. This is exactly what we are talking about, isn't it? The passive against the active learner. Active learners actually understand what they are learning. They ask questions, they analyze information, they discuss with their friends. And that's what happens. Usually a passive learner is sitting down in class and the teacher is talking. I read something last night that said teachers talk 80% of the time and all students get in is probably about 5%. And I know myself. I keep saying that if we go back in years, when I was in school, there was no diagnosis for children who were hyper. But I would have been tagged as a hyperactive child. I could not sit and listen for more than 5 minutes. So if anything didn't happen within the first 5 minutes, you lost me. So, and I learned a lot by doing things. I learned a lot when I enjoyed what I was doing. And I think that's what we need to impart to our Ghanaian children. That's what we need to do. Memorize. I remember my niece, last year was doing her exam and I was helping her, and it was a science exam, so I had the book and I was asking her questions. And let's say an example, maybe photosynthesis. Can you explain that to me? And she just tried, she would start and she would stop. She would start and she would stop. And you know what I realized? She was trying to give me the exact words in the book. That's what she was trying to do. So I said to her, no, it's difficult for you because you don't understand what you're trying to express. So we went through that. I explained to her what it means. We got a leaf. I showed her the different leaves in the garden. And then later on I said to her, now you tell me, what is photosynthesis? And she beautifully told me exactly what she understood. This is what we mean by active learning. And you know what? The beauty of active learning is that if you teach your children to be active learners, it makes teaching fun for you because you have less to do. When they're in class learning, you don't have to do the talk. They are working, they are discussing, they are coming up with information. Just last week, I worked in a third grade class. One of my, I have 3 third grade classes I go to, and I was just we're learning about communities, and so the teachers have different communities. They have the books to give them information about each community. They were put in groups. These children read the books, discussed what information are we going to put down about communities. Some were doing cities, some were doing suburbs, some were doing villages. So after that, they put the points down. The city has many houses, no trees, roads, services. And when they finished, the class came together. The groups presented their learning. Do you think these children will forget what is it? You stand in front of them and you tell them, a city has this, a city has that. They'll remember maybe 1 out of the 10 points that you gave. So let's get our children, let's inspire these children. They are amazing. I always tell this story. I'm filling up with stories because the light bulb has come on so many times. I remember when I was teaching my 4th grade class and I had to teach long division. Do you all teach long division? What do we teach? I remember myself in school. Okay, you multiply, and then you find the subtract, and then you carry over, and then so, gosh, I was thinking, how am I going to teach the children these steps? We have to go through these steps, because if you forget the step, you can get totally confused. And then right there spontaneously, I said to myself, let me just put this a problem on the board. So I put the problem on the board and I asked the class, can you solve this problem for me? I always tell my friends, that was the most amazing teaching experience for me. Because when I went around and the children shared how they had solved the problem, I could not believe it. Most of the processes they had used were even more efficient than what I had planned to teach them. And they could explain it. They could tell me what they were, their thinking behind it. This is how I did it, and I did this because. Now this tells us the child really understands, doesn't it? I remember doing math. I would just remember before the test, I would learn that formula. Make sure I had that formula. This times this is this, and that times that is that. If you go into that exam room and you forget that, what happens? Then you start to sweat. So many experiences. Me learning about the agama lizard for my O-level exam. Oh, that agama lizard had to come, because if that agama lizard didn't come for my biology exam, I would fail. And did it come? No. So there I was, trying to find a way of slipping the agama lizard in there, so I could write all I had learned for that exam. See, so these are many ways in which we are asking children to learn. And I have to say, the world is different, just like Dennis said. Our children here in Ghana are competing with children from all countries, all over the world. Children who have many more resources than we have. Many, many more. How are we going to help our children to catch up? It's up to us. We are the teachers. How are we going to do it? How? Can we think of ways? We have to. Right? We have to. Think about it. The world is growing at a very fast pace. Very, very fast. Everything is just by a click. You can get into information in another place. Knowledge, even into people's minds, people's thoughts, people's everything. And yet, we don't want to keep our children stuck in one place. We need to move them ahead. We need to move them ahead and get them competing with children all over the world. That if they go for a job interview, they can compete and say, yes, I know this. Yes, I know. Oh, yes, I understand this. Not try to remember, okay, what is the meaning of government? Government is, they need to be able to say it and express it, their own thoughts. It has to be personal. We have to create that interest in them. And it's only a teacher who can spark off that. So we have an enormous job, don't we? Enormous job. But let's go up. If you go away with one idea today, that's it for me. Just one. Every teacher here goes away with one idea. And then not just going away, but like Dennis said, going away and trying it out. Try it out, because it's only in trying that you open the door for new learning to come in. If you try it once, you realize, I can do this. Oh, I can do this. Yes, I can do it. Even with what you have. What we have, we can do all kinds of things with. We have to be creative. And I tell you, if you do that, your teaching will be fun. It will be fun, because you don't have to sit down and prepare all those notes that children have to copy. They can prepare their own notes. If they understand it, they'll write it down. And if you give them an exam, mark them on using their own words. Encourage them to use their own words, not to try and remember those words in the book. Because in using their own words, it shows they understand. I keep saying they understand, because without understanding, you're not in school. Do you agree with that? You have to understand. And we don't understand just by giving tests. We need to teach the children to talk about it, share their learning, and tell us exactly what they learned. I really have been flexible. I haven't even clicked once on this whole presentation I had put together. So maybe I'm going to fast forward and see if there's anything there I've missed. So just Sylvia actually found and said, Naami, this is powerful, and you can share this. And it shows an active learner with the packet full, and then the passive learner, which is me after 5 minutes in a classroom of lecturing. It goes in, and then what happens? It filters out. So I remember, involve me, understand. Involve your children. Let them discuss. Let them talk. Let them question. We tend to tell children, you're asking too many questions. I had a niece who was told she was too low in class because she was asking questions. Okay? And one thing as well, don't be afraid to tell the children, if they ask you a question and you don't know, I don't know, let's all find out together. Okay? Up there, but this is something that I like to share with teachers, the 3-story intellect, because the first stage is what we do a lot. We match, we name, can you recite, can you search, can you complete? So we need to we are trying to get to the top, to make our children active learners, to help them to predict, to compare, to explain your thinking. Why you think 2 times 3 is 6? Tell me why you think. It's not because you go 2, 1, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 4, 2, 3, 6. It's not because you learned it, but why is 2 times 3, 6? Can you tell me and see what they say? Okay? So this is where we need to be. The difference comes from us as teachers. And all over the world, different people make a difference. There are people all around the world who are trying to make a difference in the countries that they are coming from. I read 2 books, and these are books I read with my students, and we had a good discussion about making a difference. And the children in my reading group, they thought, wow, these people were able to do this. So with me, when I grow up, I can even do something like that for children in my community. So I'll read just a few pages of this story. And it talks, the title there, if you look in the corner, it says Solving Problems. How we are going to solve problems. Okay, and this story is titled Alpha and Beta, and it's the Bibliobrewers. Bibliobrewers means, I think it's the library. Biblio is library, and then the brewer is a donkey. Okay, so I'll just read a few pages. It said, only some children in Colombia go to school. Many children don't have to have a school to go to. Others go to school, but it is hard for them to study. Many parents can't read, so they can't help children with their homework. Families may not have money for books, and libraries are too far away to visit. Luis Soriano decided to help his children. He's a teacher who loves to read. So he thought, if children can't go to the library, why don't I bring a book to them? He only had a few books, about 70 books, and he had a donkey. So twice a week, he chose to take the books to children in villages on his donkey. I'll just read it. It says, okay, so it said, Luis, Alpha, and Beta visit 15 different villages. And when he arrives in the village, the children rush to greet him. He tells them stories, he opens his pack of books, the children get excited, and he allows them to take the books home. At the end of it, it says, from books to big dreams. Luis believes that books are truly a treasure. Reading books helps people learn about distant places. It introduces them to all kinds of people. It helps them discover new ideas. He believes in the power of reading, that reading can help every child grow up to be a good citizen and a useful person. Luis, Alpha, and Beta carry books, but they also carry more. They carry dreams for the children's futures. I chose this because, all of this active learning, understanding comes from reading. Because if you don't read and you don't understand what you read, what happens? You're just floating through, I would say. You find reading in math, you find it in social studies, you find it in physics, you find it in chemistry. Am I right? Reading is the key. Reading is the key. I grew up a reader. I remember my class 4 teacher, she didn't say, go and read. But because she read to us in class, I developed a love for reading, and I went out to read each and every day. So let's inspire our children to become readers.